Imagine walking into a meeting where no one takes you seriously. You speak and people interrupt you. You share an idea and someone brushes it off. In that moment, most people feel angry. They feel the need to defend themselves, to prove their intelligence, to show everyone they are not weak. But Machiavelli, the political strategist who studied power more deeply than almost anyone in history, would say something very different. He would say, being underestimated is not a disadvantage. It is a strategic position, because the moment people believe you are harmless, they stop watching you closely. They stop defending themselves. They stop preparing for you. And in the world of power, the greatest advantage is often invisibility. Today, we're going to explore why Machiavelli believed you should never react when people underestimate you, and how staying silent in these moments can actually give you control over the entire situation. Number 1, why most people lose power instantly. The biggest mistake people make when they feel underestimated is emotional reaction. They react immediately. They argue. They defend themselves. They try to prove their worth. But the moment you do that, something important happens psychologically. You reveal your weakness. Not because you actually are weak, but because emotional reactions show that someone else has the power to control your feelings. And when people realize they can control your emotions, they automatically gain leverage over you. Think about how people behave in arguments. The person who raises their voice first usually looks less confident, even if they are technically correct. Why? Because calmness signals control. This is why powerful leaders often remain quiet during criticism. They don't rush to prove themselves. They allow people to speak, to make assumptions, and to expose their own thinking. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote that a wise ruler should never reveal everything about himself. He should allow others to make their own judgments, even if those judgments are wrong. Because wrong judgments create opportunities, and those opportunities only exist if you resist the urge to react. Number 2, why people underestimate others. Human beings constantly make quick judgments. It's part of how the brain saves energy. Instead of carefully analyzing every person we meet, we categorize them instantly. We judge people by appearance, by how loudly they speak, by how confident they seem. But these judgments are often completely inaccurate. Quiet people are assumed to be weak. Reserved people are assumed to lack intelligence. Calm people are assumed to lack ambition. In reality, some of the most dangerous competitors in history were exactly these types of people. They didn't advertise their abilities. They observed. They listened. They allowed others to underestimate them. And this created a powerful psychological blind spot. When someone believes they understand you, they stop analyzing you carefully. They stop watching your actions closely. And that's exactly when they become vulnerable. Machiavelli believed that successful leaders often use this psychological blind spot to their advantage. Instead of constantly proving their strength, they allowed others to believe they were weaker than they actually were. Because when people underestimate you, they unknowingly give you space to operate freely. Number 3, Machiavelli's strategy of hidden strength. Machiavelli repeatedly emphasized the importance of controlling how others perceive you. Not by lying constantly, but by revealing your true abilities selectively. If everyone immediately recognizes your strength, they begin preparing to oppose you. Competitors watch you carefully. Enemies become cautious. Rivals form alliances against you. But when people believe you are insignificant, they do the opposite. They ignore you. They speak freely in front of you. They underestimate your ability to influence events. And this is where hidden strength becomes powerful. Imagine 2 employees in a company. One constantly talks about his achievements. He corrects people. He argues during meetings. The other employee is quiet. He listens more than he speaks. He observes how decisions are made. He understands which people actually hold influence. Over time, the quiet observer gains something extremely valuable: information. Information about personalities, information about weaknesses, information about alliances, and in politics, business, and leadership, information is often more powerful than loud confidence. Machiavelli believed that those who understand human nature quietly often gain the greatest long-term advantage. Number 4. The ego trap. The biggest obstacle to using this strategy is ego. Most people cannot tolerate the feeling of being underestimated. It feels insulting. It feels unfair. And the ego immediately wants to correct the situation. But the desire to prove yourself quickly is exactly what destroys the advantage. When you rush to prove your intelligence, you expose your thinking. When you rush to prove your strength, you reveal your strategy. When you rush to prove your value, you show others exactly what matters to you. And once people know what matters to you, they know how to manipulate you. This is why Machiavelli warned leaders against seeking validation from others. The moment you depend on recognition, you surrender independence. Instead, he encouraged patience. Let people believe what they want. Let them assume your limits. Because every incorrect assumption they make becomes a strategic weakness you can eventually exploit. Number 5. Strategic patience. Patience is one of the most underrated forms of power. In modern culture, people believe success comes from constant action. But Machiavelli observed something different. The most successful strategists often wait. They watch. They gather information before acting. When people underestimate you, patience allows you to see the entire landscape. You see who is ambitious. You see who is insecure. You see who is trustworthy and who is not. Most importantly, you see opportunities that others miss because they are too busy competing for attention. Strategic patience also has another advantage. It lowers expectations. When people do not expect much from you, they are often shocked when you perform exceptionally well. And this psychological shock dramatically increases the perceived value of your success. Suddenly, the person they ignored becomes someone they must take seriously. Number 6. The moment of action. But patience alone is not enough. Machiavelli believed that the true test of strategy comes at the moment of action. Eventually, the opportunity appears. A project, a leadership moment, a decision that affects everyone. And when that moment arrives, you act decisively, not emotionally, not impulsively, but with preparation built from observation and patience. This is when the entire dynamic changes. The person everyone ignored suddenly demonstrates competence. The quiet observer suddenly becomes the person with the best solution. And the shift in perception can be dramatic. People begin to reassess everything they believed about you. Respect appears almost instantly. Not because you demanded it, but because your actions forced them to change their judgment. Number 7. The final Machiavellian lesson. Machiavelli understood a brutal truth about human nature. People are easily deceived by appearances. They assume they can quickly identify who is strong and who is weak. But true strength often hides behind calmness, behind silence, behind patience. So the next time someone underestimates you, resist the instinct to prove them wrong immediately. Let them believe their assumptions. Because sometimes the greatest strategic advantage you can have is simple, being completely underestimated. And when the moment finally arrives to reveal your ability, the impact will be far greater than any argument you could have made.